first thing I would like to point out is that during the glacials, there could be advanced civilizations um, in tropical and subtropical regions. As explained before, during the interglacials, we do not see a lot of opportunities for advanced civilizations in what we call today the West. Let's say the regions outside of the tropical and intertropical regions. So we could have had advanced civilizations in the last 420,000 years. In fact, we claim there were. And uh, surely in the Amazon forest. So 420,000 in the Amazon forest, everything went on normal and on an advanced level. We will give arguments of or even prove that later. But the Amazon culture, the Amazon Amarants, have a totally sustainable and recyclable culture. So, for instance, you won't find fossils because they insist they insist on cremating their deads. So, and ashes you certainly would not find back, and all their houses that was even so 500 years ago are recyclable of plant material and wood. And in fact, they are burned down just like the deads. In fact, many times, or most of the times, together with the inhabitants, when they pass away, the house is burned down. So it's only ashes that will rest of them. So whether they are advanced or not, and we will give arguments that they are advanced, amongst others, because they built mounds and they were able, and we modern humans are not yet able to create carbon agroforests and to create soils with Amazon dark earth soils. We modern humans, despite all our technology, are not able to build an Amazon forest and to build terra preta, Amazon dark earth. So that said, what happens in the West? If if there had been agriculture in this period, then it would have crashed down together with the interglacial. And in fact, it would have crashed down together with the interglacial, would have crashed down. So outside the tropical and intertropical regions, you will not find anything. If there had been anything, it's roughly 130,000 years ago, 130,000 years ago. And that's the time that metals, etc., will disappear. But I'm not claiming there were advanced civilizations. I'm saying if there were advanced civilizations, there was 120 to 130,000 years for them to disappear, disintegrate in the soils. And on top of that, I claim that for, for thousands of years, religions and other parties try to, let's say, destroy everything that is from the past that would give evidence of advanced civilization. And in fact, Even if they would destroy, they would recycle. Recycle. For instance, polygonal walls from 5,000, 10,000, or 420,000 years ago, they would be recycled by the cultures afterwards. Uh, well, there's many forms of recycling. Metals, you melt them, and even stones, you cut them up. Can give you evidence of archaeological sites that are recycled into comparable worthless things like, let's say, rock paintings, in fact, rock inscriptions that are in a rock, obviously, and that this rock is used to make road pavements in the last 100, 200 years. So everything that would last from the past would be recycled or destroyed by cultures, especially by cultures and religions that want to destroy any other religion or culture that was before, and that they want to eliminate out of the memory of the culture they, for instance, that they take over or dominate. After each interglacial crash, crashing down, temperatures crashing down, after each interglacial, the crashing down temperatures would make life more or less impossible outside of the tropic and intertropical regions. So people would die or migrate or disappear, disappear. And because of the time, at least 120,000 years, we wouldn't find evidence of these eventual cultures. So anyhow, if there were, they would disappear, 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 and disappear. Go extinct, eh? Go extinct, go extinct, go extinct. Not necessarily in the tropical and subtropical regions, although that we hypothesize that even in the Amazon forests and eventual other tropical forests, they were suffering because there was dust. At the end of each glacial, the situation was not ideal anymore. So we know why they crash out of the interglacials. In fact, we don't know. I will discuss that right now. So, or they died, or they migrated, or they got into a collapse in a health crisis that eliminated them. And this is a part that I didn't touch. When the populations disappear, go extinct, they don't do agriculture anymore. And when they don't do agriculture anymore, forests will return. And when they return, they will crash the temperature. So when high when cultures drop out, agriculture comes to a halt or decreases. Forests will increase. Forests present at least climax forests that grow back. They will achieve biotic pump effect that cools down. So if a culture drops out, forests will regain, cool further, and make further drop out the humans. At least, certainly so, outside of the tropical and the intertropical bands. So it's self-reinforcing. Then, so we have a hypothesis about why each 100,000 year cycle, we humans, the planet, crashes out of the interglacial. And that is that whatever is there is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Here, you could even show it's not sustainable because the Arctic and the Antarctic, this is Antarctic, they melt. And when they melt, we can suppose that sea levels, ocean levels, have risen with 120 meters because they had risen have risen 120 meters to this point. And so this temperature is about our actual Holocene. So for sure, the Arctic and the Antarctic couldn't maintain the temperature around zero. And so ocean levels would at least rise with 120 meters, which is the actual rise. And that would also happen with what you could call a flood when ocean levels rise with 120 meters. You're talking about a flood, or let's say the narratives, the myths could mention it as a flood. In fact, a flood is when it rises, when it rises, and when it gets over the 0 degrees in Antarctica. The flood was before this point. When the interglacial collapses, the sea levels will drop simultaneously, which is a crisis by itself because all your ports and cities suddenly are far away from the ocean. So anyhow, steep rising and steep falling are a threat, are a challenge and a threat. And but the main reason of the collapse is that at each interglacial, because of the unsustainability of the practices, agriculture is an unsustainable practice. It will degrade soils, and the cutting of the forest will degrade climate. So it's unsustainable. Unsustainable. Something will happen. Some serious challenge or some perfect storm, and that will decrease or extinct all humans that were outside of the tropical and subtropical regions.